Rise and shine, YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about what I think are the best control pads of 2023. Yeah, I said it, and we're not even done with the year. Oh well, but these guys right here, the Rizz and the Pelz from the man, the myth, the legend himself, the whale, have convinced me to swap over to these control pads. Why? Let's talk about it. Starting off first, we are talking about the slower of the two, the Rizz. Now, this pad is such a unique surface and speed that it took me a little bit to get used to, but I would probably only use this in tack shooters alone unless I used glass skates, which are on the blue X2 Mini that you see there. Now, I'll talk about that in a second. When it comes to the surface feel is super, super smooth. It is the smoothest pad that I've ever felt. When it comes to it comes into like a cooling effect though too. If your room is slightly cooler, if it's a little cold, yeah, this pad will get cold. It feels good. It feels very good on the skin. When it comes to the stitching is below the surface, and it's enjoyable, right? I don't have any issues with my arm grazing the stitching when I'm vertical tracking, going up and down, side to side, because my whole forearm is usually on the pad. When it comes to the speed of this pad now, the speed is a very, very slow pad. Now, when I mean slow, I've never used a pad this slow, but this is an enjoyable slow pad. Now, when it comes to the slowness, okay, the Fang Ling from the new Shanghai series is, I think, slower and a little less exciting to use because it has that magnetism on the Fang Li. The Rizz is a very different control pad from the other stuff that I've used, right? I usually either return control pads or I just don't pick them up in general because I don't like them. I like the Rizz. Now, why? Is because one, there is no tug, right? Starting and stopping the mouse doesn't have a disgusting pullback on the mouse when you're trying to move, and it doesn't have a magnetism on the bottom of the mouse. It is just slow. That's it. It's slow. There's no tug. There's no muddiness. It is very, very good for you guys that are tack shooter heavy and that main Valorant, CSGO, or anything like that. Now, I have different mice because of different skates. I'll talk about that in a second. When it comes to PTFE, these are the Tiger Ice V2s. Little glide test. You can see that it just goes and then it just stops on a dime. That's amazing, right? So you have that overall glide, which is very buttery smooth on the skates. You don't get no feedback, but it is a slower experience in general. So would I main this pad in tracking heavy games like Overwatch and Apex? No, unless I swap over to my blue X2 Mini. This has Super Glide V2s on there. And, well, when you put form-fitted glass skates on a mouse and use the Rizz, it is a completely different experience now. This is a main contender for a mousepad that I could main in any game because of glass skates now. Super comfortable on the skin, and it is much, much faster than PTFE skates. Like, it just goes, but it has that nice stopping power too. Now, I know Fresh Reviews likes this pad with the glass skates on his G Pro. I can see why. Extremely smooth on the skates, but it's a completely different experience speed-wise compared to PTFE. It's quick. It has the freedom on the micro adjustments, just like glass does. But it has that nice stopping power for when you need to target swap and do all that. Incredible pad. And, well, the least enjoyable experience for me was dots. Now, I find form-fitted skates to be better because here I place too much pressure down on dots, making it feel slower than the pad actually is. So when you press down harder, you get a tiny bit more. You get actually a little bit of tug on it right here. But when you have just a super light-handed, I'm putting no pressure down, I'm just moving the mouse. It's the same as form-fitted, but when you put pressure down on dots, your dots will sink into pretty much any pad because, well, they're rounded and they're not formed to the skate itself, and you will get different like pressure points on each skate. So sometimes you put pressure down, and yeah, dot skates will feel different on pads, and I think dot skates are best for glass pads because of that. When it comes to heavier mice, EC3CW, Ryse V2, same thing. This is a much more enjoyable experience than dots. It is still super consistent, and it's not incredibly slow, even though this mouse is about 70-something grams. Very, very smooth, very, very good pad, in my opinion. If you are a tack shooter, right? If you are a person that mains Valorant or CSGO, I really think that you should try these pads out. The Rizz would probably be your new main. I'm saying this right here, right now, because I truly believe that. Now, if you're somebody who does not like the speed of the Rizz when you try it, buy some Super Glide V2s for the bottom of your mouse. And boom, you have a new main mouse pad. It's very, very quick. It's very, very smooth. Very free-feeling. Super enjoyable. Next, the pad that we're going to talk about right now is, well, my new main pad. Yeah, I said it. It is a new main pad. This is the Pelz. Now, the surface feel, the surface speed, and all that is also, once again, different from the Rizz. This pad has a surface feel that is lightly textured, but still very smooth. So if anybody here used the Valhot, I would say, like he said in a description, that it is a slower, smoother Valhot. And I truly do believe that because I've used the Valhot, and this feels close to it, but smoother. When it comes to the mouse that I've been using, I've actually been using the PTFE, Ryse V2s on it, and I don't find it to be overly too slow for me, and I find it to be actually super enjoyable in game. Now, I can hit shots like this in Overwatch. Yeah, again, sight.
He's behind, watch out. You're right.
Moving out. Expect resistance.
He's one shot over there, Genji. We got to stay on the point.
I've got meds. Who needs them? KI.
Let me hit her.
I can hit shots like this in Apex.
Watch out, 25.
And well, Fortnite, just take a look. Hitting kids out of the air with snipers and tracking two different people right after one another and taking them back to the lobby.
Okay, I got the worst AR in the game, so I'm good to go.
The first two clips you saw were on the X2 V2 Mini, and well, tracking the just dynamic Genji and Lucio just going one way was super consistent. Once I got on target, I stayed on target, and I eliminated them. When you saw me strafing or trying to kill the strafing Maria, I did that. I hit him with a rocket, right? And then you saw just the overall experience on the mouse. And even the Apex clip, chasing the target that's backing up, tracking the target coming in. Consistent glide overall with the PTFE skates, and it's not too slow. It's not muddy. Overall, this pad would be a balanced to control pad. It is not a full control pad, in my opinion. The Rizz is the full control pad. When it comes to the Fortnite clip you saw it on the Domer Shark M3S. These have the Tiger Eyes V2 dots, and since, well, I grip my mouse differently on this guy, because dots I put too much pressure on, and I sink into the pad a little bit. I've used this in Fortnite a lot more, actually, than the X2 V2 Mini, and I enjoy it, right? A nice, smooth micro adjustment, right? You saw the jungle clip going from right target to left target and then tracking. Felt super consistent, and it didn't feel too slow, didn't feel muddy, but you get a tiny, tiny bit of texture under the dots on this pad. So, another different experience between skates. And then, once again, if you want a faster pad, if you think the Rizz and the Pelz are too slow, throw some Super Glide V2s on the bottom of your mouse and go for it. Micro adjustments feel like an air hockey table on this guy. It is faster than the Rizz, and well, you see it here on the Pelz, it's just as fast and slightly faster. So, the top control pads of 2023. The Rizz and the Pelz. Both pads are just a joy to use, and I'll probably be keeping both pads because I really do like them, right? I'm not affiliated, I don't have a code, nobody has a code. It's just, I want people to use these pads because I think that these really are the best pads on the market. Now, I probably said that with the esports Tiger pads because those esports Tiger pads are very, very good. They have a lot of different surfaces and textures, all that. Some of them have a tug on it, and some of the control pads have a tug based on how much pressure you put on. The whale pads don't, and this is why I'll probably be leaning over towards the whale pads than the esports Tiger pads. Even the Chunyun, like the Chunyun is that's probably the only pad that I would main out of the esports Tiger pads because it's super free, no micro tug, super nice feeling and comfortable. But the whale pads do the same thing. Now they're not super speedy unless I put glass skates on, but I just felt more connected to the overall speed of the whale pads. So in 2023, you have a lot of different mouse pads coming out in the future, possibly. You have the new Shinnekai from Artisan, and I'll probably be picking up as well. But so far, the rest of the time, you'll see me on the Pelz and the X2 V2, unless you see a glass pad from the whale on the desk. I don't know. We'll find out. But there you have it, chat. There you have it, YouTube. Everybody that's watching. Pelz and the Rizz are my two favorite pads currently. They're unique. They feel great on the skin, on the skates, and they're geared towards different people depending on the type of skates that you use. Pick them up, try them for yourself. I guarantee you will like these pads. We're out of here. Rise up. God bless. And we'll see you for the next one.